Well, hello, creatives, community, and kind folks. Welcome to RPG with DBJ. I am your host, DBJ, and today we are going to take a day trip into the abyss. The 666 layers, asterisks, could be infinite layers of the abyss in the in the Planescape arena. And we are going to walk very fast, kind of like being in a big city and you get that strange person that's kind of trying to ask you questions, but you know that if you stop and answer them, you're probably going to be in some kind of trouble and pulled into a cult or robbed or get into a philosophical conversation that loops in on itself and you'll never get out of it. Yeah, we're gonna walk real fast because um sorry, we won't be able to visit all 1 through 100 layers of the abyss, but we're going to start there. And let's jump into it so quickly that we won't feel the pain and pressure of ourselves as we enter into the chaotic evil layers of the abyss. Okay, so the term layer of the abyss refers to each of the ever-changing um, miniature worlds in a chaotic tangle that constitutes the abyss. Now, the abyss we kind of psychologically think of as a pit of one layer on top of another, stacked evenly. No, 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 no. It's far more chaotic that way. So, on one hand, it is viewed that way. On the other hand, it's more of a miasma, and you accidentally get to various areas of the abyss. And so, kind of thinking of them as like every 100 layers is stacked on the next 100 layers, but the each of those maybe 100 layers or so is kind of mixed together a little bit, and you could skip over layers and things like that. Yes, that's the abyss. Now, of course, we probably have a guide with us. We can't really trust them, but we have a guide with us. We've just departed our boat from the river Styx, but there is a way to get to the lower levels without having to physically transport ourselves through all 387 layers to get to 388 layers. We don't have to do that. There are ways to get around it. And so let's start our description. And of course, the whole point of us even talking about this is for story ideas. Like, what can we use it for? Are we just going to randomly pick some place in the abyss and that's the end of the story? Maybe. Or maybe there is a method to our creative madness where we want our players to travel further and further down into this unknown region, maybe establishing order along the way or retrieving one or more MacGuffins, people, places, or things that are going to be our foundational method so we don't lose our minds. All right, so of course, the total number of abyssal layers was never fixed at any given time due to the ever expanding and corrupting nature of the plane. Also, there's a natural part of the abyss that absorbs other layers. Some other layers cannot be escaped, so there's only a one-way passage into them, and nothing has come out. And there are actually planes that have disappeared. Maybe they've cosmic cosmicogically I can't pronounce it. Anyway, maybe because of the the turning of the worlds, they disappear for a millennium and come back, or have collapsed in on themselves and will never be seen again. Or a greater power from the outside goes, yeah, all those people and all those things inside, let's just seal that up and chef's kiss, throw it away, right? So that's possible as well. So if the abyss is left unchecked, the continued presence of demons um, in the world can come to the prime material plane and erode the barriers between the prime material plane and the abyss. And of course, this is why there's a blood war to keep those demons kind of down where they are in the abyss, because their chaos would just reign everywhere. Of course, it being complete chaos, how would we predict it? We wouldn't. So if they're the demons and the chaos that follows after them is released to any of the other planes for any extended period of time and of great power, it would be horrible for everyone. All right, so over time, abyssal influence and long-term presence on one or more of the demon lords could permanently corrupt an entire world, effectively converting it into a new layer. And there are plenty of demon lords that exist within the abyss. that the turnover rate is incredible. If you today say you pick a random demon lord and you say they rule over a random layer, probably. Also, as true as that may be, it's also not true 10 minutes from now, right? So, while there are specific demon lords associated with specific layers, and you can use that lore within your game, it could also be given to the players by unreliable narrators. Maybe when they visited, that demon lord was in control, but being a demon lord is like kind of playing whack-a-mole. You know, the arcade game where you get where if you win you get tickets, and you're constantly using the little rubber mallet hammer to knock down heads, and there's always another one that pops up. Being a demon lord is very much like that. You're very busy putting down rebellions because you're trying to use your influence and power, intimidation, and death and destruction to keep everyone in check. But the minute you turn your back as a demon lord, there's always somebody else trying to take advantage of you. So that's the other reason why many of the demon lords are not necessarily associated as deities in the classic sense. They don't have complete control over these planes of existence. And many of the demon lords that are attached to one plane are actually controlling other planes. So even if player characters were able to defeat them, their spirits, their power, their phylacteries, if for lack of a better word, would return them back to their original home plane, and who knows where that's at. Anyway, there's an introduction. How are you? Yeah. Yeah, Shy Squad says lawful good archons plus harmonium in the abyss where the angelic fascists get their comeuppance. Yeah. There's a lot of that. There's surprisingly a number of non-chaotic uh entities down in the abyss, or maybe some of them are, hey, heathen, or maybe there really are a lot of them down in the abyss. They just converted, right? Yeah, Shai says, how about the mains? Is it pronounced mains or manies? The lowest form of life that is an inhabitant of the abyss, similar to the Lemirs or Lemiris. I never know how to pronounce. I don't often say those words out loud, but I read them, so I don't know. Anyway, the lowest form of demon spawn, what you're most likely to end up as if you die in the abyss. And if I'm not mistaken, I think even our head canon in canon, if you go to the nine hells, your soul, you are complete, but you take on the lowest form and you have to work your way up. Whereas in the abyss, your soul gets shredded, and between the insanity and the discorporation of your personality, that you could literally be rendered into multiple shreds, and then those various shreds are placed together. It's kind of like that, if I'm not mistaken. That's the difference. The lawful evil, it's writ you with your humanity ripped away, and then in the abyss, it's like you broken into horrible component parts or something. Yeshai says, I don't know I don't think anybody knows how Mains and Lemirs is actually pronounced. I I, I I'm gonna guess that even the denizens down there don't even know, and they probably start wars over pronunciations, right? which could be a real thing. All right, so the first layer of the abyss. Here we go. Let's walk real fast and past all this. Okay. Numerous attempts were made to catalog the layers. Some sources place the numbers at 666, but an in canon fraternity of order claimed to have cataloged at least 679 layers, of which 141 were considered habitable. Most were accessible via portals from Pazunia or from the Grand Abyss, but many have been sealed away and were no longer accessible. Those were called the Lost Plains of the Abyss. In other words, if you want to make up a layer and shove it down here, you can shove it in a hole and say it's there. Have some fun shoving your hands down in the hole. How's your hole? Family, how's your hole? Anyway, the fraternity of order numbered the layers by order of discovery, and that's important. So if your players are like, I know where all the layers are supposed to be, and you switch up the order a bit, and they think you're wrong. The point is that the layers of the abyss were numbered by their discovery. Now, could that numbering be a discovery by literally walking one step in front of the other and they're in order? Sure. But it's like discovering stars in the night sky. We have we've had astronomers from way back in the day, but many of them, and yes, they discovered things in rings away from the earth through distance and through technology. We have better telescopes, but are they specifically one after another? No, 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 they're not. There is some kind of like orbiting and stuff. So, okay, first layer, Pazunia, the plane of infinite portals, also known as, strangely enough, the palace of a thousand closets, the plane of a thousand portals, and a plane of yawning pits. And so this plane is essentially the gateway to the abyss. So this layer is a barren wasteland of scorching winds under a relentless red sun. The surface was marked by massive dark pits, portals that plunged into many, but not all of the deepest layers. So if the players find a guide and you need them to get to a specific layer, you're probably going to find it here. Could they go into a layer and not be able to find their way back? Yes, that's also a possibility too. And if you have players who can't participate, but you want them out of the deepest layers, but when they're able to show up in the game, they show up. This is the best place, air quotes, safest place on the abyss for them to be. And it's also where the river Styx flows and cuts through the the blasted landscape. So the players could your extra players who want to join in your abyssal deep dive, they could be here, skirting the edge of the sphincter holes and sliding down into the fart pits, as it were. So yeah, so the surface of this layer, cut through by the river Styx, connects both to Pandemonium and Hades in different edges, and its airspace is ruled by Pazuzu, prince of the lower aerial kingdoms. If you don't know, Pazuzu and the aerial beings are like demons that fly, that have wings, and so absolutely a big red sun and vulture like beings circling overhead as a danger to force the players, listen, make a choice, jump in a hole, get yourself into the hole, lather yourself up with some some lubricant and slide on in. Ooh. The layer is home to countless main petitioners who are constantly hunted for food or thrust down the pits into the deeper layers, as well as gangs that hunt demon stragglers. So demon stragglers that are kicked out of their home, demons that are have suffered from the blood war. There is no mercy here. So even a lot of those demons might be allies for the PCs because all they want to do is just have a little mercy, and there is no mercy down in the lower planes. So this layer of a thousand closets, portals to other places. Layer two, and I'll get back to what you guys have to say in a minute. Layer two, the driller's hives. It's a realm of Tharzax, the Chattering Prince, is inhabited by hives of enormous insects at constant war with each other, and the environment slowly turns its visitors into insect creatures. Although paladins were immune to this effect, and I can imagine. I don't think it's a physical transformation like we think it is. I would absolutely dump a ton of body horror down here, where on the driller's hives, that is basically like insect hives with people being implanted with spores or seeds or eggs or something like that, and you gotta have some chest bursting. You gotta have bugs crawling out of people's mouths and being eaten from the inside of their brains and blood and maggots pouring out of their ears and eyes and things like that. Let's go to layer 3, 4, and 5, and then we'll get back into what you guys have to say. All right, so layer 3 is the Forgotten Land. This layer drains memories and identities of any mortal or demon that sets foot on it. So this is probably a good reason. The third layer is probably a good reason why no one knows about the other layers, because if they stop here for any extended period of time, they're going to completely forget. It could be a drain hole as the river Styx drips down into the third layer because of the memory discorporation and whatnot. The layer itself is to have originated by a failed attempt to subvert the flow of the river Styx. The layer is dotted with abandoned cities, and it's inhabited by creatures that fed on the life force of victims or on the loose thoughts that permeated the environment, such as reason stealers, which they don't describe. There's no link to it. So, what's a reason stealer? You make it up yourself. It's also rumored to contain fragments of the Rod of Seven Parts, a good place for ancient artifacts to be forgotten that they've been down here. I could imagine great heroes coming down here with their weapons and magic and then forgetting themselves and just taking all their stuff off and wandering off into the distance, because maybe they even forget what their name is. And this layer's monitored or ravaged by golems and things like that. And Demogorgon often sent exploration parties to the layer. Probably many of those exploration forces are probably lost. Layer 4 is the Grand Abyss. Yet again, this is another layer that leads to, that is a conduit, an elevator of sorts, a blood-soaked escalator that leads to other layers of the abyss. So it's known as the Blood Rift, and this layer is a bottomless chasm that starts from Pazunia and reach almost every layer of the abyss via portals or gates, and the layer itself has no ruler. So imagine a bottomless pit with like cave entrances and things like that. Maybe it's crossed by bridges, and it just goes all the way down, strip mine pit, and then you're able to, if you travel down far enough, and you have a guide or do some random thing, you can find a portal to any of the lower planes. The problem is, what is the term? When you look into the abyss, it looks right back at you. So the minute you find a portal and look into it, there's a good chance that something there is going to look back at you as well. Of course, it says the origin of the layer is a subject of debate among sages. Probably many demon lords claim to use it or have dominion over it, so players could be there when they see a great migration of demons from one layer to another, or those exiting the pit to flow out of it to join the blood war, or magi and wizards or something summoning demons or whatever, and maybe they're pulled, their spirits are pulled from here and formed on the prime material plane. And not lastly, but on layer 5 we got Wormblood. It's a tributary of the river Styx that has reached its layer. The environment's infected. The environment infected all of the visitors with a disease similar to mummy rot. So the entire plane is like that, and it's destroyed their bodies from the inside out within a year. So I'm sure you get cut with a wound, you eat something that makes you sick, you get punched in the stomach too hard, and guess what's coming out? Worms. And so just being on this realm, you're going to start rubbing your eye and go, are my eyes watering? And then it's like a little wormy like maggot or something goes out of your tear duct and drive you insane. Let's see what you guys have to say. Oh man. Heathen says, yeah, I like the plane of yawning pits. Yeah. I don't know what it would look like. Ooh. What? Yeah. Drew's like, DBJ goes down the rabbit hole. Look, I go down my holes whenever I feel like it. Visit my abyssal hole. You're all invited. Anyway, I don't know what song I was singing. I forgot it already. What song? Wow. I don't even remember the song. Shai says, is this like the only 5 seconds of Event Horizon that were actually cool? Yeah, I think Event Horizon's given too much credit. I think the movie Sphere is a little bit better than Event Horizon, but so I'm with you right there. Shai says, Sulfanorum is where Tanari come to relax and smoke a pipe of dried flesh, dung, or whatever they smoke. The foul stuff clogs the air, making planers and pilgrims alike wheeze with each breath. I haven't gotten there yet. Got to have a place to hang out when you're not, torturing souls or something. You're like, man, that's tiring. 18 hours a day, just taking my pitchfork and pushing people down in the flaming pits. It takes a lot of energy. Shai says, yeah, is worth for those 5 seconds in the abyss. Our only good Latin lesson, liberte to temet ex inferis. And I don't know what that means, but I could assume what it is. Drew says, to get 100 levels done today seems quite ambitious. I mean, we're only 20 minutes in and have only made it to level 5. Yeah. I listen. It's a little clickbaity. There's no real way to get through 100 of them. I mean, we've got the Phantom Plane, where all portals leading to this layer are sealed, and it's the realm of the demon lord Sizinek, and I pronounced it correctly, Sess apostrophe. How do you pronounce the apostrophe? Is Emperor Lizard, worshipped by lizard folk, so you can get here, but you can't get out. Layer 8 is the Skin Shedder. The layers corrupted souls of all visitors in a matter of days. The only immune creatures are to the effects are tieflings. So, and probably a lot of skin hanging around because it's the Skin Shedder layer. Layer 9's Burning Water. This layer has no ruler. It's an ocean of acid inhabited by twisted creatures who I'm sure are immune to all that acid. There's layer 10's the Hellhole. That Hellhole, where the only food available in the layer are other sentient creatures. And there's a Mole Rat, Molrat, layer 11. Lordship of the layers contested. It's an underground land of tunnels in eternal darkness, inhabited by demons that constantly hunt each other by sense of smell. It's permanent darkness. There's a layer 12, which is known as 12 Trees, where an arcane ritual was done by sacrificing 12 astral divas, and they were tricked into going here for a peace conference, and they were killed. And so this layer basically is a giant, it is home to an ancient ritual of vast evil. And so even demons and wizards and sages that want to use the power of chaos and evil come here. Layer 13 is the Blood Tor, Tor, Blood Tor. It's a vast ocean of red water, and the layer has been a site of an invasion of the Abyss by the Ba'atsu, who counted as one of the greatest successes in the early days of the Blood War. There's a layer 14, the Steaming Fen. It's a layer of the realm of the Queen of Chaos. It's a vast, foul, briny ocean from which a mountain so vast as to dwarf any mountain of prime material plane. There's a gigantic castle carved into the mountain, a labyrinth of tunnels underneath it, and the throne room itself is an enormous cavern containing a pool of salt water covered with a layer of oil in perpetual flames. Layer 17 is the Death's Reward. 21 is the Sixth Pyre. Yes, I'm skipping some because these are skipped. The Iron Waste is also known as the Iced Waste. It's a vast expanse of glaciers, mountains, and ruins buried in miles deep ice. It is inhabited by frost giants, winter wolves, ice archons, desperate demons, and reflavored icy monsters and things. I can't pronounce this thing. Layer 27, Malignebula, Malign Nebula. Endless expanse of acid clouds with no solid ground. Realm of the gaseous lady, Lizari the Noxious. So there isn't you should just fall in here and either die from breathing in the noxious fumes, or float, get your body destroyed by the acidic clouds or something. Layer 32 fills the consumption. Layer 45, 46, and 47 are known as the Triple Realm. It's basically 3 planes stacked on each other, and you can travel between them like a vast dungeon. The 45 is known as Rawwind, 46 is known as Shadowski, and 47 is known as Vords, because there's an apostrophe in there. 48 is the Ocean of Tears. 49 is the Shadanan, a realm of the demon lady Reaxia, a queen of shadow demons. So yeah, and it goes on and on. The Phage breeding grounds. Layer 57, Torturous Truth. Layer 65, Court of the Spider Queen. Because the Court of the Spider Queen, Loth, controls layer 66, the Demon Web Pits. This layer is an immense network of webs that fold in on themselves to form a single giant spider web. All structures, such as buildings and ships, hung from the webs as if caught by them. The web created random portals connected to the prime material plane that drew in objects. Deep within the web were dungeons, and far beneath these lay the bottomless pits where Loth dwelt. Layer 67, the heaving hills. Layer 68, the swallowed void. 69, the gibbering hollow, or gibbering. I think it's gibbering. Layer 70 is the ice flow. Layer 72 is the dark light. The realm of the demon lord Noctolia, the undeniable. Within the layer, the shadows of good creatures shone brightly, while evil creatures were shrouded in darkness. The bright creatures are easily hunted down by demons to be sold as slaves or killed, or maybe used as a light source too. Um, Layer 73, the wells of darkness. Layer 77, the gates of heaven. Uh, maybe it is a gate to the heavens. Layer, it doesn't go into any detail. Layer 81, the blood shallows. Layer of marsh, layer of a marsh of acidic blood red water under a white sky with blue clouds. The layer has no ruler. The high grounds that is available were claimed by different demons. Is the former realm of Obox Ob before he was forced to retreat to Zionon by the Queen of Chaos. Layer 88, the Gaping Maw, the Shadow Sea, the Guttering Grove, the Unnamed, which is layer 99. And lastly, the layer 100, the Barrens. This layer is an enormous expanse containing ruins of all past and future civilizations. It is believed that the Barrens had been an astral domain that had fallen in the abyss. Woo! Didn't get through all 100 of them, but what I can see from these first 100 layers is that um, each of them can be considered like a mono world, a la Star Wars. You want a swamp, the entire layer is a swamp. You want a place that is that rains blood, well, that's what it does. You want a place where flesh is flayed, then it does. And while describing them, a lot of them are permutations of environments we have on the prime material plane, just given a little tweak to make it a little bit more dangerous, so that at least the first 100 layers, the players have some ability to survive. If they have a pretty good guide they've threatened and cajoled to go down here with them, they might be warned of such areas, or they're able to come into the area and for at least a short amount of time, when I say short, a day, a week, a month, a year, they may not have any super horrific side effects until they start looking at their body, their friends, their allies, maybe some retainers or something like that. But what do you guys have to say? Okay, when I hear this, I love the layers of the abyss, which is why I regret that I have to stop chatting and pull my usual shtick and listen while getting ready for bed. Oh, you're fine, man. Good night. Have a great one. Oops, what the heck just happened? Oh, I clicked the wrong thing. There we go. Oh, how's your whole family song? Yes, yeah. It's I want to say it's songs by a quartet of gentlemen that sing dirty songs. Like I think they do a song about a dog named Stain. And he's like, "Where's Stain? My dog Stain, come Stain." Things like that. Shai says, "What is the layer where it is nothing but chasms with tripwires strung up everywhere to shred up the flyers?" I don't know, man. There's a lot of layers, dude. It's crazy. Shai says, 12 Trees is apparently one of the most important layers in the Planescape lore, where the Chaos ship was built. Yes, from the souls of the divas and millions of mains. Yes, and you could actually do a thing where you trace back certain events in the multiverse back to 12 Trees, and the grand, it could be the granddaddy of rituals that were done, because so many millions of souls were used to construct, Chaos ship and things like that. So it might be. Yeah, dude, like DBJ ruins his nerd cred again by really revealing his lack of Latin comprehension. Damn me, my nerd cred. You should know, folded arms, pouty face. You should know Latin. You're not a geek. Unsubscribe. Oh man. Meledius, a powerful two-headed Tenari in a strange place outside the regular abyssal hierarchy, feared even more than the Baylors. They served as intermediaries and enforcers for their demon lords. There's so much cool stuff down here. And I almost feel like if you were to um look at the cosmic wheel of Planescape, I feel like the Abyss is its own other Planescape deep dive. Like here's the cosmic wheel on one side, and then the Abyss is everything else on the other side. You know. She was like, Heaven's Gate. No, that was a cult. Ugh. Yeah. Ugh. Forgot about that. I didn't make up the name or steal the name, or maybe the Heaven's Gate cult stole the name itself from the Abyss. I don't know. Dark light, where you forget everything. The light is tearing me to pieces. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And mind you, a lot of these planes of existence, we can write our own rules. If you want a plane that's nothing but darkness and there is no light, or like the plane of dark light, where if you were to generate any kind of light, it becomes a beacon to all the dark creatures that are there. Go ahead and go for it. If you want a plane where you there are rules. Let me go backwards a little bit. There are rules in Planescape. Some of them a little bit complicated because when you have spells that summon things or alter the environment or transport player characters from one place to another, it's a little problematic, right? Like, yes, in current fifth edition, Misty Step seems to be given away like candy, as well as portable holes and bags of holding. But you really don't want to have these things in the various planes of existence. Now, yes, you could default to, well, it operates just like it would on a prime material plane, but I would suggest modifying them a little bit, and the modification should be consistent, that modify them a little bit and let the players know, hey, listen, if you do this, if you summon a familiar, you're probably going to summon something else as well. If you're going to Misty Step or Dimension Door or teleport or use a rope trick spell or whatever the case might be, chances are you're going to go someplace you really don't want to go, or call something to you you don't want to. And heck, you send a message spell or something like that, and your ass might like get a message from something that you really don't want to have that message brought back to you or whatever. There's a plane here, like one of the, let's see if I can find it. That's pretty nasty. It's the plane of beholders. Let me see if I can find it. Did I skip it? Oh, here it is. Layer 6. How did I skip this? Layer 6, Realm of a Million Eyes. Realm of the Great Mother, the chief goddess of the beholder pantheon. Like there needs to be a pantheon of beholders, right? Inhabited by every kind of beholder and beholderkin who constantly fight each other. The layer has a twisting network of tunnels filled with eyes protruding from the walls. The eyes belong to the Great Mother herself. How nasty is that? So, just like the beholders, each combating each other, and of course, there are different size beholders and gigantic ones, gargantuan ones, and small ones, and little baby beholders, and other beholders fighting other beholders because they dreamed another beholder into existence, which is kind of how they procreate and all that kind of stuff. An entire plane of existence of nothing but beholders, and the entire plane itself is nothing but vast tunnels with eyes in the tunnels connected to the Great Mother, a beholder pantheon goddess herself. Ugh. So you can take that idea and take just about any damn evil, chaotic, evil thing you can think of and just make a realm full of what it is. Like the realm of the lizard folk, right? You can start going with lizards and dragons and tentacled creatures and crocodiles or something. What shadows? You start picking out shadows and shadow demons and shadow dragons, and then you start adding shadows, adding the word shadow in front of just about any other creature. shadow bugbears, shadow ettins, shadow trolls. I don't know. I don't, shadow. I don't know. Medusa. Anyway, pull something out of your ass. Great idea here. I have the feeling that the first 100 layers, just in my own head canon, just quickly going through these, are this is a place where mere mortals, first level through like 10th level characters with not very much protection could come here and at least for a short amount of time survive. Yes, the plane of nothing but noxious gases and fumes with no land. Yeah, your ass is probably in trouble. The layer of wormwood, the layer of wormy diseases that worms into you from every orifice. Yeah, maybe not, but I would say that it's probably the most survivable layers if the players are willing to run, willing to retreat, work together, maybe have a reliable type of guide, and they're able to get back to, um, the Great Pit or Pazunia to be able to go back and forth to the River Styx. Beyond that, you start going from layer 100 to 200 and on. Ooh. Let's see. For Deadman says for a future stream on Beator, Bator is I know I'm mispronouncing it, but doesn't matter. You got to pronounce the apostrophes. If you're going to bother putting apostrophes in words, we need to do it justice and put the apostrophe in there. Bator is like that famous scene from The Matrix, but instead of guns, it's just endless empty vending machines of food and drinks. I need snacks. Lots of snacks. I've only got $3. Hold and behold the beholders. Nasty stuff there, but I love it. And again, we have the ability to change the nature of what we're seeing. Walls with eyeballs in it. Ooh, does that mean the players can't sneak around? Of course, that's what it means. Yeah. Shai says beholders alongside mind flayers, surely one of the most powerful monsters from old school D&D. I feel like not only are they uh, the most famous old school powerful monsters, along with the Githyanki, Githziri, Githyanki-ish mind flayers, beholders, and such. I feel is a disservice because Shadow Kitten's like my Sophie. She's around here somewhere. Uh, she's the producer of the show. Uh, I feel like we should have by now found other equivalent level sentient bad guys. I don't know. I feel like we have to have more than that. Yeah, Baator, official gentleman gamer pronunciation. He's still around. Yeah. Shai says, is there a layer of the abyss that's nothing but Bodox? Yeah, where they talk to you for a minute and tell you about their terrible life and then you get the death gaze? There's lots of Bodox down here. Let me see if we got images of Bodox. Yeah, let's see. I'm trying to remember what they exactly look like. Yep. Bodox kind of remind me a little bit of shadows and doppelgangers and let's see, let's pull them up here. Bodox, and let me pick one. What's a good image? Is that Etsy? There's a miniature. We'll pull that up here. Yep. Bodox, come here, let me tell you my life story. No! Shut up! Look me in my eye. Tell me there's a chance I can get out of here. Deep down in the abyss. They do have a little doppelganger-ish to them. The gray formlessness, sexlessness of the body, that kind of thing. And listen, in my own head canon, whenever you have a monster book are the average of the monsters that they encounter. As a matter of fact, many of the monster books give monsters average hit points. So more hit points, more powers, more attacks, more capabilities. Um, add some stuff to them and make them individual. If you're going to bother to name a creature and just don't make them mindless creatures, but you have them running around, give them a personality, give them some power, some magic spells, some class level features, and you don't have to give a like this Bodok here. You don't have to give that one a warlock level. You can just say, oh, they have Eldritch Blast, and throw on some other stuff, right? Um, do that, and then of course do the opposite, right? Do the opposite and give put some of the monsters in a terrible position. They are on the run. They are wounded. They are poisoned. They've been kicked out of their realm that they used to be badasses in, and they're no longer. They are being hunted, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Starving. They're brand new in their career and they need some help, something like that, right? Mm, 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 mm. Let's see. Drew says, yes, the Gentleman Gamer is still around. He is currently launching a game called The World Below or something like that. Yeah, yes. Heard something about that. I used to listen to Gentleman Gamer all the time too, especially World of Darkness. All the World of Darkness stuff. I just I hear the voice, and it's still in my head. I love it. Shai says these are new pictures of buttocks, inferior images. The only one that counts is from 2E. There can only be one. I know I can find it. Let's see. Let's see if I can find her here. Let's see. Bodok. I know it's here. Let me move back quickly. Move back up to the top. Forgotten Realms wiki, and let's share this page out. Let's visit. Let's see. Also, visiting the top 100 layers of the abyss, I would dare say to use. Where's the image? First edition. There we go. Share this tab instead. There we go. All right. All right. All right. All right. I would dare say that using this is the opportunity to introduce the players to the dangers that you want to introduce to them. Use lots of common monsters and their stats and their images, turning them into abyssal style creatures, and doing that to introduce the players like this is not your natural realm, right? This is not your mama's abyss. This is a very dangerous place. And so let's go back here. I remember this image. I forgot it. I thought I get this confused with the Ifrit image with the tusked teeth, because I think the Ifrit even has pantalones of fire as well, if I'm not mistaken. That's more a very tall goblinoid, gray goblin of such. Bodoks were what was left of a humanoid that had been destroyed by the touch of pure evil, such as that of a Nightwalker, undead creatures devoid of personality or souls. Bodoks were cruel and relentless hunters, either of their own volition or at the behest of some greater power, such as the Nightwalker that created them. Very much related to Wraiths and Wights, WIGHT, creatures created by their destruction by another evil creature. Um, yeah, I mean these are specifically created from evil people killed by an evil entity, but yeah, they resemble their living form to a certain extent, being roughly the same size and shape. Um, this is just a question for you guys. We have fantasy so much. Why do we constantly relate every fantasy other thing to human beings? Like, why don't we see undead tieflings or um shadow-fied dragonborn or um, demonic ogres or halflings that are corrupted or something. Like it's always human based. It's really weird because I could see this in the first 5, 10, 15 years. It's been like 45 years plus. By now, we should have art and descriptions and are intermingling. If you have player character options, why aren't they intermingled with the things that are presented to us as adversaries in the rest? Where are the legions of undead gnomes? Right? What happened to that? What happened to the corrupted elves? And it's just weird. It's I don't know. Oh, thanks. Oh, that's a shame. Metastatic parasite paradise, the layer where all forms of carcinoma impart themselves upon you. Ooh, ooh, yeah. Shai says, Gentleman Gamer alongside Andrew was the best before DBJ hit the scene. They're still the best. In 2016, he disgraced himself when he forged a court docket to defame Ander. Legally actionable defamation. Just saying, oh, that's what happened. Ooh. He got Ander canceled. I did not know that. That's what the see. I stay out of a lot of drama. Not that's legal, specific legal drama, but yeah. I did not know that. Oh, so that's what happened. I never understood in this whole internetosphere, like why bother spending in energy going after somebody else, right? It just is weird. It's just I just mm. Anyway, that's like going to a sporting event and physically assaulting someone who ends up getting on the jumbotron over yourself, right? Like it's going to lead, you do realize it's going to lead to nothing. It's really weird. All right, um, delving delving ourselves back into the abyss and what it means. Um, Yeah, Shai says, yeah, I stay out of drama too. I thought it was worth worth it for you to know. I did not know that. I honestly didn't know. I was like, how did I drop off? Now I know Ander left the scene, and I was like, why did he abruptly just stop putting out videos and things like that? And he was starting. He's the one that got me into it, and his sphere of influence was like getting greater. And I understand that. Ooh, this is still working. Yeah, I'm gonna turn that off. I understand that like Ander was he was a character, and some people didn't understand that. Yeah, it's really weird. Drew says, I even have settings that have no humans in the first place. Thank you. Thank you. And I really like to have weird non-human stuff. So don't ask me why that is not more common. It's so when I say it's weird, what I mean is um those of us drama queens are just like, I like immersion and I like all the social interactions and I like backstory and intricate setting details. So you would think that somebody like me would be pushing that kind of stuff, and I don't see it. Whereas then you have your that let's go on the other side. Let's get your murder hobos. It's like I want to fight evil things and fight them. Well, when your monster book doesn't have enough evil things to fight, use the simple tool of reflavor, reskin, repurpose, reuse. And so undead humans can be undead gnomes and undead tieflings and undead half orcs and undead bugbears and like mixing the two in a what is it called a Venn diagram. That Venn diagram can get pretty large if you string along all the humanoids along the top edge, and then down the side you put down all the undead, and then you add numbers to them, and then you find one in the middle. I mean, I don't know. Whatever. Wow. His ex-wife framed him for domestic violence. He was later exonerated. He now has full custody of his son, full proof of his innocence. Yeah, I remember having I've had very few but personal conversations with him when he got me into remember G plus. Anybody remember Hangouts? Yeah, we talked on those, and he was talking about his son. He was living in the Washington D.C. area and stuff like that. I shouldn't be talking to him about him behind his back, but anyway, yes, yeah. Wow. Mm. And that was about the time when the brigade kind of broke down too. Various members of the brigade kind of went off on their own, things like that. Drew says I played in a 40 game at Undead Halfling. Yeah, exactly. I mean, they're halflings. They're not just for comedy relief, right? You don't just pull a pocket halfling out and use it. They should be fully embraced in the setting. Anyway, lastly, listen, yeah, talking about the abyss and things like that. I also feel pulling from this discussion, the side discussion, into the abyss, that one of the reasons why chaotic evil, despite its vast numbers and infinite planes and all that kind of stuff, is it's pretty relentlessly horrible on its own self. The idea of there is no honor amongst thieves. There's a ton of backstabbing and pulling down and no mercy. All the armies that get thrown into the blood war from the side of the demons, there's nobody really going to save them, right? That's not happening. There isn't any of that. Yeah. There, so we can see that players, there is a good reason for players to get allies in a infinite plane of demons, because one demon, even for a short amount of time, would gladly work with somebody else to achieve their own goal and then backstab the people they're working with. But if the players understand that, they can say, oh, great, we can use this demon as a guide to get us to this place and then go, see ya, bye, we don't need you anymore. Yeah, Shai says yes. I remember those were the good old days. It was good that you showed up on the scene around the time he went to jail. Just saying, it's a good you're back to keep the legacy alive. I don't know. I'm kind of an island of one, man. Today, I remember when having tens of thousands of subscribers was a big deal. Now you're like, no offense, but you're a nobody in the greater tabletop RPG community if you aren't pushing tens of thousands of subscribers or more with a more professional background, unlike what I have with my standees and things like that. With staff members and a very enriched Patreon. I'm never in the Discord, which I should be, because it was created for me and a great place to talk. Dead Man's basically um, doing all the hard work, and I'm not even thanking him as much and stuff. And you guys helping me out. So yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm trying to keep it alive because I've still got I'm a long termer. I got 4 years before I retire. And I already had the discussion with my wife, and I'm like, I am not being a Walmart greeter when I retire. If I have to get another job, this is going to be my job. It's going to be my profession. So I'd probably do it 15, 20 hours a week or something like this. Yes, I should be. You are absolutely. More truth is not spoken. Yes, you should be at Discord. It's difficult because when I get off work, that time, my work takes up a lot of my time. My free time I give to my wife, and then this is my personal time. So, and I was able to carve it out. So yeah, little personal things there. Yeah, Drew says, yeah, speaking of the brigade, the group on Facebook is still around, but not much happening there these days. Even DBJ seems to prefer to use Absolute Tabletop to promote his stuff there. I do. It was a place where I was greatly embraced, so I feel a loyalty to it. I guess I could. I don't know. I feel odd going, like, especially to, like, trying to restart some things. I mean, Facebook is kind of like it's an old school, old timey. It's considered old timey social media platform, and some places when they go downhill, it's difficult to bring them back up. But maybe I should start poking my head. I mean, I'm part of like 25 or 30 Facebook groups, and most of them are dead now. So I guess I could single handedly try to promote more discussion and interactions and things. I don't know. I don't consider myself to be particularly special. So I guess maybe that's it. Shai says, you are one of the true intellectuals when it comes to world building, storytelling, and setting an original scene. Almost all RPG channels now are derivative copy artists for people who are not very smart. Oh, thank you. um, I do. I have gotten bored with some of the larger channels because they're far more broad. They're more 101 channels, right? How to get new people to do a thing, and it frustrates me sometimes because I'm like, you don't need permission by these YouTubers or even Watsy or anything with Dungeons and Dragons to do what you want. You don't need to ask permission. Your ass is smart and brilliant, and the fact you brought up the question in the first place means that you should go ahead and do it. But it's just weird like that. We love to have um, our biases confirmed. So yeah. Yeah, he's a good man. You'll be an exceptional full-time YouTuber, RPG writer, hopefully novels too. I've thought about doing novels. Um, the monkey on my back is me looking at other people and looking at them and looking up at them and going, I don't even know if I could ascend to that level. That's what it is. It's imposter syndrome. So so after you retire, you will give us 5-hour live streams like Heath does. Yeah. Old man going, guys, it's been 2 hours. You guys can go ahead. I'm going for another 3. He's geek first. And that dude, except for bathroom breaks, man, he puts out, you think I put out an hour a day? That dude pumps out like 5 or 6 hours of content every day, all the time with other people. It's crazy. Yeah. Juices, I try to keep the world within the ring of fire and raw immersive games thing alive, but I'm not a true gamer and have almost no free time. That's our problem. Yeah, yeah. Drew says I prefer niche channels, especially those about game design, are the space I enjoy most. Thanks. Which is, like if you tell, like I don't really promote the channel, because I don't think there's enough meat on the bone to promote this to a 10,000 person channel. And yes, at the end I do the whole like the call to action stuff sometimes, but I kind of like where I'm at. I mean, I I air at a time when most people here in the States aren't available, which makes it a little bit more private. I can keep up with you guys if you guys are in a chat. If people come in through Twitch, through the Twitch stream and YouTube, I can kind of navigate that. I haven't really had to push the please put DBJ in front of your comment or question to read it because it's moving too fast. So it feels a little intimate. And of course there's a feedback loop, right? The para friendships that I make is a little bit more personal. So yeah. Oh yes, I had that on last night while I was writing. Yeah, yeah. Your Drew says I watched it in the night Heath clip for 3.5 hours since they talked about Arcane, and I love that show. Yes, yes, I had that on in the background while I was doing some writing for Cool Name Goes Here Kickstarter that I'm part of. Of course, I'm doing the exploration thing. Anyway, I was doing my whole article for obstacles and objectives, non kill or be killed objectives, and then obstacles, environmental obstacles and stuff like that I'm going to send over hopefully pretty soon. Shai says it does not have to be novels in a traditional sense. Okay, simply describing an original setting in great detail, making a history of a fantasy sci-fi world that might be better than a novel. And I love, I not used to. I still listen to world building like podcasts and things, and I love taking small, somewhat mundane, insignificant details and blowing them up into worlds. And then I also go in the opposite way. I love taking big, massive ideas and then compressing them and going, yeah, but what's life really like in a world that's like this kind of thing? So yeah, and I like being open-minded too. I love learning from new people, and especially people from other walks of life. Um, I embrace that. The world has already got me. It doesn't need more of me. I'm special, and so is everybody else too. So anyway, guys, went down into my own little abyss, my own little hole. So As you guys know, everyone else is invited to this hole. Please join me in my hole if you'd like. Bring snacks, invite friends and family, and also like, share, subscribe, and give a thumbs up. Your thumb can easily fit into the giant hole that is here. Um, Definitely not for kids. Definitely not for kids. Anyway, guys, thank you very much for being part of the show. I really appreciate it. You guys, your time is valuable. I'm glad you could spend it here. I hope I can make change for you in your tabletop role playing experience. Yes. Um, Maybe not so much a watering hole, maybe just a moist one. Have a great one. Peace.